Welcome to Rainbow Radio, the Del Rainbow podcast, bringing you real conversations with creatives, intuitives, entrepreneurs, motivational speakers, and information seekers. Join us on our video stream to connect to the authentic people behind the voice. Here's our host, Bianca Gregg.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Rainbow Radio. We're very thrilled to have you joining in with us today. It is our Del Rainbow third birthday, so Zoe, who you all met in our previous podcast and now co-host of Rainbow Radio, decided that it would be quite an interesting and fun time to, I guess, do an amazing rewind and look back on everything that what Del Rainbow has become, where it was, each individual development process and all these different areas and where we've actually gotten to and what even is Del Rainbow for those who don't have any idea about what we do, which is quite a number of people that we'd love to dive in. I guess celebrate the journey and also the journey that beautiful Zoe has had with us in this amazing period of time. So we're kicking it off.
All right. I have got a little introduction that I'll recap on, and then I've got some questions for you both, some juicy questions. So get ready. We were saying it's 10 a.m. and we had a glass of wine. But there you go. Coffee will do. So Del Rainbow, who are we? So 16 brands, 12 team members, over 500 retailers, an agency, a store, even an Airbnb. Del Rainbow has come a long way in just 3 years, blossoming into Byron's most notable global wholesale, sustainability consultancy and brand development agency. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is founders Bianca Gregg and Alan McPherson, partners in life and in business. As we celebrate Del Rainbow's third birthday, I'm delighted to sit down with this accomplished duo to discuss where we've been, where we are, and where we hope to be. So I'm head of media and marketing at Del Rainbow, and I've only been with these guys for 8 short months.
Which I cannot even deal or believe, because it feels like
a lifetime.
And that's a really special thing in itself. I feel like, this amazing thing that Del Rainbow is, it feels like every single human and individual who is a part of everything and creating has been here forever. And that's really special.
Yeah, it's a family.
Yeah.
So speaking of family, we were just saying before, we don't even think our own families know what it is that Del Rainbow do. So tell us, what does Del Rainbow do?
Okay, so we have many different facets and spheres that we cover within Del Rainbow, and I think that's what makes it so intricate and very different, is that it is unlike any agency, consultancy, development, back-end wholesale logistics, sales, everything under the sun. And I think that there's no one truly out there like us. And I think that's what is very unique and different. And not only the foundational element of how we actually operate as individuals and everything that we believe in at a value asset level within the business, but also how we actually execute our services. So in a nutshell, for a more simpler version, we manage global wholesale and trade strategy and brand direction for all of the brands underneath our arc. And then we also have another arm to the business, which was newly developed in the early 2020 as COVID rolled out from a really strong need, and an area that we wanted to grow in the business as well based on our skill set, which is back-end wholesale and logistics management, which essentially means that for the brands that are on both models, we manage from sale to dispatch. So a really high level of excellence from a global wholesale standard, just making sure that every single element from, out in the market, the sales season, the pitch, the bringing the orders, the showing, the range development, the planning, all these kind of intricacies, then get handed over to our logistics teams who manage that whole process coming to fruition and dispatching and landing in those doors. Everything from global customs, logistics, CRM systems, dispatch management, warehousing management, financial management as well. So we actually have such a solidified, holistic approach to the way that we do things. Number two, 1 and 2, because we really care. And I think that goes hand in hand with why we execute both arms of the business this way. And they work so intertwined and so integrated ever so beautifully between the teams. And it's been like a really natural progression and development. We also work on business development with all of our brands on a continuing basis in that space, where we literally throw ourselves internally, but externally, obviously, as a business, into each business that we work with. Each partner, we want the absolute best for them in their business, which means that we look in their business and do our job to give out everything to support them and grow them and work on an organic basis and actually fully understand the intricacies of what does it take to get them to their desired goals, or where do they need to be right now? How do we infiltrate that at a costings metric based level so they can achieve a margin, or a global retail strategy, how they support the retailers, how they grow their direct to customer business. All of these different intricacies we do manage within the brands, and we really work wholeheartedly with each individual team within the brands too. And I think that's what's so unique and different, is that when people see sales and the sales agency, they think, okay, show it, pitch it, whatever, hand over an order, that's it, catch you later, we see you in a couple months' time. We work every single day within every business that we work in, and they are like family to us as well, and we care about them so much. And we also build all of the sustainability strategies as well, which is another key arm, and something that's really, really important to us here, is that it's an area that, over the years we've started to begin learning and really, really growing in. And I think that's been really imperative to our growth and our brand's growth in business, because we actually go in and can actually work on them with a foundational aspect and development in terms of actually understanding where they would like to be, where their key achieved and ongoing desires are in terms of what values are important to them, and then also restructuring the fundamental layers of the business from environmental, economic and social impact, and then building those different strategies from fabrications to human social compliance and development, all of these different areas that we actually execute that brings the Dough Rainbow service. Plus, we obviously do the store, we have stay, we have all these other different elements that come into the business as well. And then everything that Zoe obviously creates, because Zoe obviously does all of the socials, marketing, media, PR, events, everything under the sun, and it's really special, because I feel like we have such an amazing team and array of individuals where this incredible skill set is given the opportunity just to soar and fly and really, have fun and create. And that's what the basis of Dough Rainbow is to create and to have fun along the way, really. But whilst understanding the business excellence and understanding how to execute something, and actually truly understanding the global market, which is, again, we do every single region in the world. Yeah. So understanding that and having that excellency is something that we really pride ourselves on.
Amazing. All right, you've just answered my next 10 questions. So that's a wrap. No, it's good.
I was like, here is what Dough Rainbow is.
No,
it's all these things.
Yeah, no wonder our families don't understand, because it's a lot. It's a lot to explain. That's the longest elevator pitch up. We're right to the top. But yeah, no, I've got a question for you, Arlen, and I guess off the back of what Bea's just explained, Dough Rainbow are responsible for a lot. So I'd love to know your kind of, what's it like to run your own business, and one of this magnitude?
Firstly, it's very exciting. It's definitely exciting. It's great to see what we can achieve with the brands. Everything they achieve, watching them grow is amazing. Supporting them all through that. We have an amazing team. It's fun in there every day. And I think that's
to the best.
But like what you do, I feel like people don't necessarily understand or know the magnitude of what you do, because you are the literal.
I like being in the back end.
I know you are.
Do you know what? And I'm just gonna take this space for him to really deliver that, because and maybe perhaps that's why we work so well. But truly, Arlen is a very silent achiever. He is the backbone of the entire company, and I think that that's something that he'll kind of cruise over and be like, oh yeah, I just do this thing and whatever, but he's literally the backbone of Dough Rainbow. He builds our own personal business infrastructure, because a lot of the time in that basis, we're doing that for all of these other businesses, and then it's like, well, where to within our own, and Arlen manages all of that. He manages all of our cash flow proceedings. He's our CFO. You manage every single critical business pathway decision with me as well, but you are spearheading that whole space. He's responsible for the entire planning and management of the business in terms of that element as well. And you also, within the wholesale model, run all the back-end brands finance and be chasing all the invoices and keeping that all in check for their cash flow and developments throughout every season. So, across 3 businesses that we own, you also operate and do the financials across a lot of the other businesses that we work with, and, helping them with their internal planning and all of these different developments, plus running a team too.
Yeah.
And
you're also the only male.
You're the only man.
In our office. There's a lot of female energy next door.
It's fun, though.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Female energy. It's really fun.
So when we put the Spice Girls on, how do you
He sings along.
Every time. Yeah, he actually truly does. He truly does.
Groovy. Is this
That's all good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. So yeah, I guess I had another question for you, Arlen, is that like, how do you keep your cool? Because
this is actually something really fun. I'm just going to really check this computer thing while you.
Okay.
It's actually all good. Sorry, guys. Bit of a tech thing. My girls is probably jumping on Zoom.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I mean, we have wine as discussed. What's your, what's your coping mechanism?
My coping mechanism is the ocean.
Yes.
Definitely.
Okay.
As long as I get in the ocean every day, I can do anything.
But what does that do for you? Because I feel like it's really interesting. I feel like there's something like we don't
As
even
non-surfers,
understand.
we don't understand.
For all the surfers out there,
Yeah.
it's a complete reset. No matter what's going in the day, what I'm looking at, what's coming ahead, that just levels me every day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And how amazing that we live in Byron Bay and you can literally describe your board.
Yeah, it's 2 minutes up the road. Yeah,
that's
we're blessed.
fantastic.
We're very lucky.
And so that's a really important aspect of Arlen's Day, for example. I feel like
Surfing.
I mean, like in terms of like you were like, okay, no matter what, no matter how busy I am, whatever it is, I will always prioritize this because it fills me up to do what I need to do. And I think that that's something really important for everyone and to understand is that like, yes, you can be busy, and I actually hate the word busy, but because I think it's all down to priorities and what you put forward first. But I think, you can have so much on and whatnot, but it is your active choice for you to have that balance because you can, when the job is done, there's always more to be done anyway. So it's more about you, I guess, balancing your.
Definitely.
And I read this amazing thing about this actually because I wondered for all these many years since I've been with Arlen why this is such like a big why is this so important to him? What does it do to him? I need to understand it. And it's literally like the negative ions in the ocean actually have the ability to completely reset your nervous system and your infrastructure and provide you with that kind of I guess what salt does in your body or whatever.
I've always been drawn to the ocean.
Yeah.
Amazing. And it can literally reset your serotonin and stuff like this. Like it's crazy. I mean, factually, I think I got that correct, but
it doesn't matter. I believe you, and it obviously works. So
exactly.
Yeah, no. Well, I've tried surfing, and that didn't happen to me. Mine works. Amazing. Cool. Well, speaking of and this is kind of interesting that you brought up the ions and thing. I was going to say is that you're a very spiritual being, and since my time with you, you really opened my mind to the importance of I know me, anti-crystals, anti-flamingo, yes, she's wooed great out. Exactly. So I mean, I think so much of what you've achieved is down to who you are and your ability to manifest and realize your dreams. So tell us how it's helped you along the way and what's the importance of it.
That really made me cry.
You can cry.
That's really, really special. And I feel like number one, my favorite quote in life is to love someone is something, but to be seen and understood for who you truly are is what pure love is. And that right there just hit my heart center because you just saw me.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that. So thank you so much. And to have someone, how crazy is that? Even if as a dynamic, you're looking at this right now, this is literally what Del Rainbow is every single day. To have people that understand and see one another and want to support each other wholeheartedly and truly love one another for who they are, to see the best in for them, is something that I think is just so special.
It is. It's so special and it's so rare.
It's so rare, and we genuinely want that for each other. And I think that's really I feel so privileged to even you say that. It means so much to me. Now I'm gonna have a kick-ass day because which is great. I really appreciate
well,
that.
you're doing something right. It's working. Whatever you're doing, it's working. So if I can have a little slice of that pie, I'm happy.
I just love you. So obviously that's a really, really big element of who I am. I guess I just lived my whole life like that and I always have. I think that from a young age I was pushed into that space, which I'm so grateful for because it actually made me make these choices where you are on your own and you have to either create the life that you desire and you really can create those changes and those shifts. And I guess I've lived a life where I have literally lived and breathed that existence because I was given two parallels throughout my life and going, okay, well, you can either make the choice. You can either stay as a victim and be in that space and not propel, or you can actually shift and shift your entire perspective and mentality, and you can actually go out and achieve and create and manifest whatever you actually want. And I think I watched that, and I think that I live and breathe it, and I'm an exact example of that, and I do that every single day. But I think it's really important. I'm such a huge believer, and I have obviously personally had huge things happen in my life that have allowed me to see that come to fruition and see the power of what you can actually create when you go out and drive it yourself. But also it comes down to that, obviously I've been into energetic healing since a really young age as well, so that kind of propels into how I look at everything and how I connect with everything and how I see people and I see things, and I connect it with my heart, and I actually feel it and tap into the energetic properties and purpose of that particular person and what they want and who they are. And then I really gravitate to that, and I draw that out of them to bring their best and highlight that and their story and all this kind of stuff, because I believe in people. But obviously I'm very passionate, but that passion leads into manifestation for me. And that's how I am so head and heart connected with every single thing that I do, that if one isn't connected with the other, it never works. So I'm such a big believer in that. Yes, you can manifest and think, okay, these are my desires and my dream goals and and what I want to get. If you literally don't have the absolute wholehearted heart space, passion, creation, belief in that, where you actually physically are stepping into that notion, you're living and breathing it every day, it is absolutely every single essence and a part of you that can't come to fruition.
Yeah.
So you must have head and heart connected. And now having that belief in yourself is something that's really important too, is that in order for me to believe in others, I have to believe in myself. And I think it also works in reverse for me. I believe in others so much that it gives me so much life and love that makes me believe in myself as well. So it's a really, really special space. And and energetically and spiritually, I think that really aligns who you are and aligns with your core values, which means that then you operate from a space of authenticity always, because you can't ever operate from a space of fear or falsity. And if you do that, nothing ever works. So I've really learned from my life and how I do what I do, and how I feel like it's just how I operate as an individual. So that has actually just come in to everything that Darren is built on, that we literally operate on that energetic basis in every single thing. And it is because you can't actually replicate that. You can't actually mimic that. But then what you can do in a team is have that at the basis of everything we do, which then encourages everyone to be their wholehearted version of themselves, to be such authentic versions of themselves, to be speaking and working from their gut instinct instead of from a fear or instead of what anyone's ever taught them, or all these kind of things. So I feel like that's one of the biggest things, is that I believe in personal growth and development, and I believe that should go hand in hand and side by side with what you do for a job and what you do, and this becomes a connected part of you, and you flow and create and work from that integrated space. But it is, I require spirituality in my life because it makes me believe in the greater purpose and the greater good. And I think that it also allows me to connect in with people at such a deeper level.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. And we were saying when Cody came in last night and said she'll tell me off. I like that I mentioned her name. But she said that during her time at Del Rainbow, she's obviously had a huge career growth, but she's had a huge personal growth as well. And I think all of us have. I think, Bianca, I remember the first time I met you, you gave me a big hug and you're like, oh, your energy. And I was like, I didn't even know I had energy. What is that? Like you were saying, I was seen by you, and Cody's seen by you. We all are. And giving, I mean, we spend 80% of our time at work. So if that can be a place that is such a, for all of us, it's such a positive space, and we step into it every day, and we're so supported and so recognized, and like nothing goes unnoticed by the two of you, which I think is I don't know, makes working for you so rewarding. And we see the work that you put in, and we just level up. We might go out to that at the end of the episode. But I think
that's really, really special, because I feel like, you know how we always talk about within Del Rainbow, it's always people, purpose, and then product. Even like how that is our 3 Ds, that's how we operate. I feel like that right there is people first. It's always people first to us. Like, I don't even want to do anything unless every single person in that room or in the brand or whatever is literally
Loving what they're doing.
loving what they're doing and who they are. And that's why in everything that we do, I'll always check in to understand the person first. And then what they need and what their growth levels require. Because then when you watch that happen, you're like, how incredible is that? Look at where you were, look at who you became, and look at this barrier that you've broken in yourself to be this. Or also it's like having someone who, because I actually obviously I'm very into personal development and all this kind of stuff. So I actually wanted to really, really, really allow everyone that opportunity, because I also want that for myself. And when we do that together, we're all getting that. And our specialists, and then you can do anything. You know, you can do anything. When you are so empowered as an individual, you can literally take on the world. That's my job. To empower people.
You do well. I think one of the best pieces of advice that you've given me is follow the joy. And I think it's myself every day, and I'm like, follow the joy, and it works, and it works in a work capacity, in the sense that I might start my day doing something, and I might prioritize my day based on following the joy. And once I've done that joyful task, I then have the confidence and the positivity to work through the things that might have been more challenging, or that I might have been putting off. Like we were saying that we were trying to reschedule this podcast, Alan and I, because we were nervous. And Bianca wouldn't let us. We had to follow the joy, and here we are, and we're having a great time. But
that's it. And I'm literally even if no one even listens to this, literally this has been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. It at this point too, and reflecting back and hearing that you feel that way is my.
It's very, very.
It's the most beautiful thing. It's literally my whole goals have been achieved.
Well, I have a question for you. So I know that we do a lot of interviews with a lot of different people, and there's always this question, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? But my question to you is, what do you think the best piece of advice is that you've ever given to people? So obviously follow the joy is the favorite piece of advice you've given me, but what do you think is the best advice that you've ever given anyone?
Everything is perfect as it is always. Because even in the shit, the chaos, the great, anything, it's always perfect, because you're exactly where you need to be. And when you can actually I feel like as individuals, obviously we go through so many different times now in our lives, and I think this is why I led back to spirituality always. Even if I've stepped over my boundary and I've gone triggered and I've gone to that space, and I'm like, oh, get called out, and you're like, oh, pull back. Whereas everything's perfect. This situation is perfect because it's allowed us to step here, or this situation is perfect because it's allowed us to go here, and knowing that hindsight is a beautiful thing. But imagine if you can take the power of hindsight into the present by going, this moment here is perfect, even though something might be, crazy happening. It is perfect because it's sending us to exactly where we're supposed to be. Now imagine if in those moments we can remove the anxiety and the triggers, because we actually, to be honest, we all have the power to. It's about how we choose to react and respond and all this kind of stuff. Imagine if we can actually, in that moment, release that control to go, wow, this is happening, and I'm going to handle it because I can. And it's going to lend to and take me to exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Absolutely.
How much does that change your experience? And then it doesn't get
totally. And 2020 was the year of that. Tell me how you two responded to the year that was.
Well, I feel like we responded hard and fast.
Big time. I mean, your business changed. You spent half a year in New York in Paris, and we can no longer board a plane. How did you respond?
Well, number one, we literally worked nearly every hour of the day.
It's okay if there were tears.
And that's why I think it's so important to be vulnerable. It is hard. It is hard work. But then at the end of the day, you have to be grateful. And I think that's what gratitude is, what sets you, again, back to that space. And I think that literally we can go through hell and back, and then in that day be like, holy fuck. But then the next day be like, amazing. And it's how quickly you pivot, and I think because we are obviously quite free individuals, I feel, and our team's very free, we're all ready to we very much and then execute at the same time. It's this amazing perfect balance where a lot of companies I feel are very structured in this essence, and you cannot even step outside of that. But we're like, this is the situation. How do we all deal with it? And then get creative and work from that basis. And that's why I'm like such a person who works in that space, because I believe that's when your intuition kicks in, and that nothing can guide you stronger than your higher self, or when you've got that gut instinct to be like, that's the right decision. As soon as you start overthinking it, it will send you to the wrong decision anyway. And I think you just need to be able to react quite quickly based on your gut instinct. But also, we had, thanks to Arlen, so much planning within the business. That's amazing. So it allows really nice structure and foundation. But I think we worked really hard and fast. We did everything that we could. We stopped everything and we protected every single brand we worked with globally. We worked with all of our retail partners to maintain our orders and everything that was going on. We worked harder and faster to go, how do we support them? Literally in COVID, we stepped into, how do we support? How do we do better right now? We didn't look at anything else. We didn't look at finances. We didn't look at money. We didn't look at what's coming, what's going, anything. We just went, how do we support? And that
do the most we can for everyone.
And how do we get everyone's vision to shift to be into that space? Or going, I could stay here and be so stressed and spiral, but or I could step into, okay, let's actually communicate. And for me, I loved it because I was like, this is storytelling time.
Absolutely. And how inspiring to see the people that are working with you and for you like pivot like that. I mean, kind of, that's like the most obvious word. But it's exactly what you did. I mean, like what you created with the virtual showroom is incredible, and like you truly are pioneers in that space. And how amazing for the brands that you represent to see you doing that. And just like leaping to action like that, and then they get to be along with the journey too, and like actually get an insight into the experience that they might not have seen before.
And it's so funny because literally when I was talking to Pazzy the other day, I was having a laugh because I had already started doing that in sales before we did the VC, and I forgot this. Right. So like so the last sale before we came back, there was people that couldn't attend because COVID was happening and whatnot. And literally in that showroom, in that time, in that space, I got the girls, I filmed them on an iPhone, and I was like, let's record your walkthrough individually for each person who can't attend. So it was actually, and I actually got this because when I was looking back on all of the videos, I was like,
we've been reminiscing the last
week. And we'd already started that. So therefore, the moment that we got back, I knew exactly what needed to happen and then how to develop the tech to do it. But it was literally on mimicking the human experience because we wanted people to be more connected than ever before and give them exactly what they need, not this B2B bullshit that literally takes away every single personal connection. And you can't tell them a story by that. You can't do that. It doesn't feel like they can't see it properly. It's like everything else out there in the market. Where's the speciality? And where's the care? And how do you stand behind that and have someone feel like they can enter your virtual world for that period and feel like they're actually with you and taking through everything properly, professionally, all of those things. But anyway, that was a really big thing for us because we never want to lose human connection in what we do because it's the basis of.
We never want to lose the way we do it.
And I think the personality in it.
Totally. I'm seeing your smiling face from around the world.
And I love everyone so much.
Can you tell?
So much. And I want everyone to know that. And I want them to be able to, like, I don't know, tune in and be like, cool, like, here's the guys. And because we've worked hard to make sure that they know that we will work 10 times harder for them. And I think that's what's really, you got to do the work. I think.
Definitely. And I think things in the industry, I mean, you've been in it for a long time, not just 3 years, but well in advance of that. What, I guess, what changes do you want to see from here on in?
Better buying. Number one, better buying, ethical practices. I want there to be big shifts from the top down. I want there to be education, which is what we're trying to do now. Is very, very clearly educated.
Better buying in terms of sustainability.
Better buying, better buying policies, in going, okay, great, we're going to actually choose X, Y, Z because of their foundational aspects and what they are doing, which therefore then has a knock-on effect to support them, to support production, to support makers, to support growers, to support all this kind of all these other different ends of the spectrum, but then allow other brands to also do that. And if we make a big change, then that opens it up for more growth for others. And then also, I want every single person to be able to understand the true impact of what they're buying.
Yeah.
So what is your water wastage for this particular shirt, and how can you do that better? Or, you know, from seed to dispatch, how can we do better? Because we have one planet, we need to make a change now. And it's not only just about regenerative or recycled or considered materials, it's about considered processes, and this is what everyone needs to know. And I think it just really, and to be honest, like, you know, I just want to do better and better and better, and offer everyone something that they can actually back and support that is actually making a true impact.
Definitely.
And then providing the education so that other people can do it too.
Yeah,
It is not about you kicking the ball yourself and then holding it.
Totally.
It's about you telling
That
them
no
more
one wants it.
more better.
Exactly right.
There's enough out there for everyone,
Yeah.
and that has to be the mentality, and we
Yeah.
have to change it. And imagine if you can offer an amazing product that hits all of these gap areas, or it speaks to your true authenticity, and it's considered processed and material, and it has a development plan, and you know where you're going with it. I think that's where we want to see the biggest change, and I think we're really lucky to be working also with buyers and having relationships with our partners who all want the same impact. And I think then how amazing when we can all work together, and there's some teams where I can look back 3 years ago and go, oh my goodness, like look at what collectively the brand, the partner, us, everyone, the manufacturers have achieved in that small amount of time. How incredible. We can all do that together. It takes every single person to do that. And empowering them to make those choices, and empowering them with education to go, you can go here or here. It's up to you.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and sustainability again is one of those buzzwords, and we hear it a lot.
Yes.
And people are taking notice, which is great. But I think that, like, to your point, sustainability to us just means sustaining this industry, and like it can't go on the way that it's going.
And it also isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's make it.
And it means so much to so many people. I mean, fashion is huge, and it's people's livelihoods, and it's like, we need to, like you said, care from the ground up.
There's even all these things like, you know, some brands will start looking at it from the tail end and going, okay, well, let's offset and do this.
I'll put it in a recyclable bag. And It's like,
no, we can actually make more of an impact if we look at it from here. And actually slowing down and really reviewing the business and not having an ego about it, and just opening up the door and saying, what can I do to someone who has expertise in the field, and go, okay, here's what we can do. Well, it gets them on the education pathway, it gets them feeling connected to that journey, and all those things.
All those things, definitely. So that's changing the industry. So we're at 3 years now. Where do you see Del Rainbow going? This is my last question, I promise.
Amazing. Sorry, I thought so.
No. We love it. This is the hardest question, isn't it? I was saying that it's hardest to talk about. Like what?
It's really interesting because I feel like we originally had, like, I guess, such clear
plans and pathways.
Where we were like, okay, this is, you know, this year and this year and these are things. And I think that we've just been so fluid with growth based on where it needs to come at the time. But we're very structured in the same essence, so we do have the ability to do that and to work fast in those instances. But I think what we really want to see is making sure that our category expansion is strong, that we can really work with our businesses to solidify at that foundational level of everything they're doing. We are now going to be very strict in brand reviews. We will no longer work with, you know, if we've given brands a certain caliber and we've been educating them and saying this is what needs to happen, if we start to see that that is not changing, we can no longer partner. And I think that's one of our biggest decisions now, is that this means so much to us. It means so much to us that we want to work with everyone to build a better future. And you know, and there's some, and you know, some people can't make those changes, and we understand that. But in the same token, I do not want to sell more of that.
No.
So you know, we're trying to be very responsible in that instance, and making sure that we really truly stand behind every single element of that. Or if we have full transparency, then we can build in a growth plan and figure these things out together. So like that's a really big one for us. And where we're going with that. And not that we, you know, have that or whatever, but in terms of that's something really important for us. As time goes on, there will be more and more higher standards that need to be met. And so we need to ensure that all of our partners grow in that space at every single touch point, from retail, from brand, from production, from every single point. Developing out all the marketing strategies, I feel, solidifying, building out regions, depending what happens with COVID, whether we open up in New York and Paris like we're
That was the
going
original
to
plan,
do.
yeah.
Growing the store and developments there and the events and community.
More store events.
Many more.
So-
I've got a few on my sleeve.
Community. And I feel like really just building out brand choice and education place. I feel like education space is really, really big for us. I want to learn more so that I can go forward and educate further. We're building in all these different sustainability offerings within our business, and I really just want to educate, do well, and fly.
And just continue to love doing it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I feel like that's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Well, amazing. Well, happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday, Joyce.
Happy birthday. How are we celebrating?
We're going to the Hut to celebrate, which is an amazing restaurant
Beautiful.
in Byron Bay. Which
Had a vote around the
Yeah,
room.
we do.
And that's the other thing, celebrating every moment. If that's one other thing, you must celebrate your moments, otherwise they go on too fast. It's really important to celebrate your people.
Our amazing team.
Celebrate your people. That's really important, and that's what we stand by the most. But I feel like small love letter to Del Rainbow. Thank you for being everything amazing. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to do what I love and to grow so much and to grow with amazing humans and individuals and to do what we do, because without this thing, we all couldn't do this. And I'm so grateful for
We're very, very
everything.
lucky.
And for you guys, thank you for listening.
Hope you enjoy. More to come. Tell us what you want to hear next.
Yeah.
Zoe's got to actually stay tuned. Zoe's interviewing
Alex.
Alex from Mud.
Yeah.
Soon. She'll be up next. Which is really exciting, and then some other amazing individuals.
Yeah.
So what you will see is a very vast variety of humans that come from all walks of life.
Yeah.
And again, what we want to really build in and build education and interviewing amazing humans and supporting them for what they're doing in the world. So stay tuned for Zoe to do that.
Stay tuned. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.